Good morning, children. Today we're going to tell the story about the smartest giant in town. This is a story about a giant. Can you see the giant? Is he a smart giant, an elegant giant? George, that's his name. George was a giant, the scruffiest giant in town. He always wore the same pair of old brown sandals and the same old patch gown. See all the patches? I wish I wasn't the scruffiest giant in town, he said sadly. See what happens then. So one day he saw a new shop and it was full of smart clothes. Oh, very elegant clothes. See, can you see a white shirt, a pair of smart trousers, a smart belt, a smart stripy tie, some smart socks with diamonds up the sides, and a pair of smart shoes, very smart shoes. So he bought all these things and he became the smartest giant in town. George left his old clothes behind the shop. He was about to go home when he heard a sound. Oh, here we have Teddy with us. On the pavement stood a giraffe who was sniffing sadly. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's my neck," said the giraffe. "It's so very long and so very cold. I wish I had a long, warm scarf." "Cheer up," said George, and he took off his stripy tie. "It didn't match my socks anyway," he said, as he wandered around and round the giraffe's neck. It made a wonderful scarf, so the giraffe said, "Thank you." As George strode towards home, he sang to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cool giraffe, but look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town." After a few minutes, George came to a river. On a boat stood a goat who was bleating loudly. "What's the matter?" said George. "It's my sail," said the goat. "It blew away in a storm. I wish I had a strong new sail for my boat." Let's see. "So, cheer up," said George, and he took off his new shirt. "It kept coming untucked anyway," he said, as he tied it to the mast of the goat's boat. "It made a magnificent sail." "Thank you," said the goat. George strode on, singing to himself. "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town." Now let's see what the problem of this mice is. George came to a tiny ruined house. Beside the house stood a white mouse with lots of baby mice. They were all squeaking. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's our house," squeaked the mother mouse. "It burned down and now we have nowhere to live. I wish we had a nice new house." "Cheer up," said George, and he took off one of his shiny shoes. "It was giving me the blisters anyway," he said. As the mouse and her baby scrabbled inside, the shoe made a perfect home for them. "Thank you," squeaked the mice. George had to hop along the road now, but he didn't mind. As he hopped, he sang to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cool giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town." George came to a campsite. Beside the tent stood a fox who was crying. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's my sleeping bag," said the fox. "I dropped it in a puddle. I wish I had a warm, dry sleeping bag." And now again our friend George said, "Cheer up." And he took off one of his socks with diamonds up the sides. "It was tickling my toes anyway," he said. As the fox muddled into it, it made a very fine sleeping bag. "Thank you," said the fox. And George hopped on singing to himself again. "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of my socks is a bed for a fox. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town." Uh-oh, not that smart without the shoe and the sock. George comes to a big squelchy bog. Beside the box stood a dog who was howling. "What's the matter?" asked George. "Woof, is this bog," said the dog. "I need to get across, but I keep getting stuck in the mud. I wish there was a safe, dry path." Let's see what George's gonna do. And again, the giant, he was a very kind giant, said, "Cheer up," said George, and he took off his smart new belt. "It was squashing my tummy anyway," he said, and he laid it down over the bog. "It made an excellent path." "Thank you," said the dog. Woof. The wind started to blow, but George didn't mind. He hopped on singing to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cool giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of my socks is a bed for a fox. My belt helped a dog who was crossing a bog. But, uh-oh, look. Uh-oh, my trousers are falling. I'm the coldest giant in town. Because look, all the trousers are down." Suddenly, George felt sad and shivered. And not at all smart. No, he was not smart. No elegant at all. He stood on one foot and thought, "I'll have to go back to the shop and buy some more clothes," he decided. He turned around and hopped all the way back to the shop. He was going to buy more clothes because he couldn't go around without clothes. Oh, problem. When he arrived to the shop was closed. "Oh, what am I supposed to do?" he said. Oh, but suddenly he saw his old gown. Remember the gown and his old sandals? And he said, "Oh, my gown. My dear old gown and sandals." George put them on. They felt wonderfully comfortable. "Now, I'm not the smartest giant in town, but I'm the coziest giant in town," he cried. And he hit the road. Outside his front door, he arrived to his house. But outside the door stood all the animals he had helped. They were carrying an enormous giant present. "Come on, George," they said. Open it. Let's see what's inside." George untied the ribbon. And, here's the ribbon, the red ribbon. Inside was a beautiful gold paper crown and a card. Oh, a crown. A paper crown, and here there was a card for him. Look inside the card, George, said all the animals. George put the crown on his bed and opened up the card. The card said, let's read all together, children. Your tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. Your shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. Your shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of your socks is a bed for a fox. Your belt helped a dog who was crossing a bog. So here is a very fine crown to go with the sandals and gown of the kindest giant in town. So children, he got a crown and a beautiful card from his friends because he wasn't the smartest giant in town, but he was the kindest. So sometimes it's important, children, to be kind to our friends. And if you like the story, The Smartest Giant in Town by Julia Donaldson, you can click on the link below to buy it. Bye. See you in the next story.